Hello students, I am Dr. Garima Shrivastava from Lal Bahadur Shastri College, Lucknow. I am talking about principles of effective writing. Now, what is effective writing? When we talk about written communication, it is important to note that written communication has to be for a purpose, and how it has to be written, what all points has to be included in this written communication is an important aspect of writing down any kind of communication in the beginning. Now, when we talk about writing, we know we have to write something, we have to jot down the points, we have to filter those points and complete and include all the important points in a written document. So, for that purpose some principles need to be learned. Now, these principles basically help in writing down the communication part and writing down the information where we are sending the information in the form of written communication from one person to another. So, very first principle is the principle of brevity. Now, when we talk about brevity, it means brief. It is not good to waste readers time, thereby short and brief information should be given. Now, of course, brief means short sentences and active verbs should be used. So, you should not extra elaborate the communication when you are trying to write down the thing. When you are doing it in oral form, you can give it in more detailed form, because you will be able to explain the reader, explain the receiver what you are going to tell or what you are trying to say. But while writing written communication, because it lacks personal touch, over there over exaggeration of a certain information, overdoing of a certain information may create confusion and thereby conflicts among the people. So, be brief, be as much brief as possible while writing down the written communication in the organization. Secondly, is the principle of clarity. It is considered good to give needless trouble to the reader. That means, if you are going to trouble the reader, if you are going to waste his time, if the reader is not able to understand what you have written, it will not give clarity of the written communication and will not serve the basic purpose of the written communication. So, clarity of information is to be conveyed to the reader. Now, when we talk about clarity, many other points are to be considered. When we talk about clarity, you need to be very concise. That means, you need to be very specific, very short, very choice of word, choice of sentences should be very careful, so that you use least number of sentences, least number of words to explain your word, and the person also understands the same as you are intending. So, clarity is an important aspect of written communication. So, you need to check into your grammatical mistakes, your sentence formation, inclusion of all the important information in your written communication. These will create more clarity in the mind of the reader who is reading your written communication. Then comes the communication. The social purpose of language is communication, that is to inform, convey or otherwise influence our fellows. Now, of course, written communication is done for the purpose of communication only. So, when we need to communicate, that means I need to give certain kind of communication, I need to give certain kind of information, I am conveying something to the other person. So, for that purpose it will include all the important aspects of communication. That means, I would need to see whether it is being communicated in a proper manner, proper medium is used, all kind of physical infrastructure is available with the organization. Then of course, if written communication is being done, whether it is done on the letterhead of the organization, there is stamping and signatures of proper authorized signatory in the organization, then only your document will convey the same purpose as it was being intended. So, for this purpose, communication, the language that you use in the written communication is important. Then emphasis. When we talk about emphasis, just as the art of war largely consists of deploying strong forces at the most important points. So, the art of writing depends on a good deal of putting strongest words in the most important places. Now, of course, we can use strongest words, we can emphasize on the strongest words, we can bullet them, we can bold them for writing purpose, so that attention is grabbed on those particular words in your written communication. Suppose I want to give a certain kind of policy wherein increase in HRA is done. So, a percentage increase of HRA may be boldened or it may be underlined in the written communication. This will create, it will create an emphasis on the saying that your HRA has been increased. So, now the basic purpose of the written communication will be served when you will be extra emphasizing on the words or the sentences for the purpose for which you were actually communicating. Then coming down to honesty. Now, of course, honesty over here means we cannot we as a writer, as a writer of the written communication, we cannot just copy and paste the sentences of someone else. So, now there is a need to create your own text, your own words, your own information, your own ideas into paper. So, you need to pen down your own ideas before writing down. You can take help from the people who have already written in the same form, you can take help from already existing documents, but the document you draft should be original work of your own and it should be in original sentences or frame of sentences that the writer has done. One must be very honest in giving written information as it reveals the character of the writer. Therefore, be very careful when while penning down something, so that most of the original work is of the writer. But care should be taken so that it does not loses its original meaning. Now, sometimes it happens that while choosing our own sentences, while using our own sentences of communication, the original meaning is lost. Now, for that purpose, if we are actually paraphrasing other sentences, if we are trying to create something of our own as a writer, then the original meaning should not be lost, it must be kept in mind. Then comes passion and control. This indeed is one of the eternal paradoxes of both life and literature, that without passion life gets done, yet without control of that passion it affects are largely ill or null. So, that means while writing, your passion and control both should be there. That means you need to give emotional aspect, you need to give extra information wherever required, so, and side by side simultaneously you should also keep control on your writing, so that extra or over exaggeration of some information is not done. So, both has to go hand in hand, or both have to be very much balanced when we talk about the written communication. Now, coming down to reading, one learns to write by reading good books as one learns to talk by hearing good talkers. So, of course, for writing very good written communication, good context, good documentation, you need to read a lot before writing down that particular document. So, you can go through already existing documents, you can take help of other organizations documents also, but then of course, you need to pen down your original work. So, through that reading you can do this very easily. Then comes revision. Every author's fairy godmother should provide him not only with a pen, but with a blue pencil. That means, of course, once you have already drafted your written communication, now it is the responsibility of writer that he cross checks, he revises his drafts once again, that means with a blue pencil. Now, of course, this is the time where you need to remove the redundant words, you need to remove the words which are not required for that communication, you need to cut short the communication, maybe somewhere you need to merge two sentences. Sometimes during revision you see that this point is not at all required in this communication, so you may remove that point also. So, revision will help a lot for preparing the final draft of written communication. Then comes sophistication and simplicity. Being sophisticated does not mean that the person is more learned than the simple speaking person. So, if you are using artistic language, if you are using very hard jargons or very tough words or very flowery language, so that does not mean that you are a very good writer. So, you can write, you can be a good writer and you can be a very effective communicator when you are writing those sentences in a very simple words and using very active verbs. So, being sophisticated always does not mean that your written communication is very effective. So, you can be simple at times, and of course, in organization most of the time the people who are into written communication, they need to be very much simple in their terms. Why? Because as far as you are simple in your written communication, you will be able to decrease the amount of confusion to a lot of extent, and of course, the conflict to a very large extent. Therefore, one must be very simple and yet be sophisticated in explaining things. So, so now of course, you need to check each and every sentence, that where simplicity is required and where you can use sophisticated terms and explain them thereby in the documentation. Now, coming down to the approaches of systematic learning. Now, how we can write a good document in the organization. Now, this all depends on the type of writing, on the way of writing we are doing in the organization. We need to actually learn what is the actual step of systematic writing and how we are approaching to write this particular document. Now, this is something that needs to be kept in the mind before delivering this written communication, or before finally drafting this written communication. Now, it will start up with pre-writing. That means, before writing, what you need to do? You need to find the purpose, you need to check the audience. Then brainstorming, you will need to brainstorm yourself, you will need to filter all the important points which will be written in that document. Then what will be the actual form, actual sequence of those information to be delivered to the person who is reading this documentation. Then comes the actual writing part, where you will be organizing your collected data, collected information, sequencing your data. Then what kind of words or voice you will be using, when emphasis you will be putting on certain words. Then what kind of sentences or what kind of sentence fluency you will be using. Then comes the responding, that means teacher peer conference and evaluation. And now, once the communication reaches the other side, the reader will respond. He will put up certain queries, or he has to give a feedback to the sender. Then the revision, of course, you will be revising, you will be again looking into your draft, and you will be doing certain changes if they are required in this written communication. So, clarification, clarifying, reorganizing if something is to be reorganized, then refine your sentences if it is required through revision, and then use precise language. Then of course, if there are certain changes that are required during revision, you will be needing to edit your final draft, and then you will be getting your final draft. Then lastly, publishing or sharing. Now, that means you will be actually sending this final draft to the intended people, intended group of people who will be now reading your document. So, coming down to the various approaches of written communication, we have 4 approaches, 4 points which 4 mindsets or thoughts through which we can write a particular sentence or particular documentation. Now, as a sender, as a writer, a person can take any of the following approaches to write down that particular notice, circular, or whatever written communication is there in the organization. So, first of all, it is a pragmatic approach. Pragmatic approach which means it is cognitive and procedural skill. That means it comes through your own cognitive, your own building up of your knowledge which you have throughout your education, throughout your experience. Now, this approach comes from your experience and your knowledge, and procedurally you develop a skill to develop your written communication. So, writing seen as cognitive or procedural skill with strong emphasis on grammar, text structure and spelling. So, of course, when we are talking about cognitive skills, that means all the skills of writing that has been developed in a person all through while he was studying, throughout his education, throughout his experience, which will be putting more and more emphasis on his grammar, on his text structure, what kind of text he is using, what kind of sentences he is using, and of course spellings. Now, a very high value will be placed on correctness and formal language. That means you will be very much focused that you use a very correct and formal language. That means whatever sentences you frame are very direct, and active verbs are used over there. Very concise and specific kind of sentences are used while writing the sentence. So, relatively small range of genres used and practiced lot of practical and hands on activities with written language. So, lesser choice is being done on the practical part over in pragmatic approach. It uses exemplary models to illustrate good writing and use of exercises to build up competence through repetition and imitation. So, pragmatic approach comes through continuous learning of repetition of similar kind of sentences or similar kind of notices or circulars which we have already been making. So, it comes from a lot of experience wherein we try to improve again and again while writing this particular kind of document. So, we keep on repeating, we keep on imitating in our own words and build up a skill, a procedural skill wherein we write this document in a very proper manner, which is almost grammatically error free, and it has a very proper text structure in its own. So, provision of vocabulary and writing prompts. Over here vocabulary is also a very important part which has been focused. Learner is a skilled apprentice before he or she can use language as creatively. It focuses on the language needed to succeed in school. So, little recognition of social languages of learners background. So, of course, over here whatever we have studied from our schooling, from our education and from our past experience of the other organizations, over there whatever we have learned, we will we as a writer will be putting all our skills as an apprentice in writing through pragmatic approach. Now comes the rhetorical approach. It is based on genre, argument and type of academic writing. Now, of course, it is a somewhat higher level than we talk about in pragmatic approach. Pragmatic approach is more and more learned approach which we have already learned through our experience, through our education. But rhetorical approach comes from continuous academic writing. That means, the person who is writing this document is into continuous writing since he has joined certain organizations or through his experience. So, writing seen as social practice in the rhetorical approach. Now, at rhetorical situations, writing is seen as a social practice. That means, you are continuously into academic kind of writing or writing different notices or circulars. So, through that own experience you are able to prepare the text in future also and prepare the documentation in future also. It places strong emphasis on rhetorical moves and techniques, on conventional ways of organizing text and on useful vocabulary and sentence patterns. Now, of course, when we talk about rhetorical approach, it uses different techniques of writing. So, that means now it has become more refined as compared to pragmatic approach. Now, from pragmatic approach one has to move to the rhetorical approach. Why? Because we need to confine, we need to refine our writing and move towards more and more improvement in future. So, while we are writing, we are into continuous or repetitive writing. Some kind of skills are acquired, they get acquired, and through these skills only we are able to frame a more a simple yet sophisticated kind of document, and over there organizing of text is a very important method. So, this organizing of text will be which is very important in rhetorical approach. The person becomes very much experienced in rhetorical in organizing text. Why? Because he is into continuous academic kind of writing throughout his experience in the last organizations or last jobs, and also it also places a very useful note on vocabulary and sentence patterns. So, it also considers the vocabulary, it considers the grammatical mistakes, it also takes into consideration the sentence patterns and of course, the sequencing of your different sentences in the written communication. So, all this will be covered in the rhetorical approach. A very high value is placed on effective communication. That means, now we are moving one step ahead of pragmatic approach, wherein high value was placed on grammar and context and whatever sentences you are using. Over here, along with all those activities, you are also placing very high value on the effective communication. Now, when we talk about effective communication, all the 7 C's are important. That means concise, clear, then communicable, all the other C's are important over here. So, wide range of genre is used. So, you can use a very large range of genre, wherein you will be framing your sentences in a very different aspect, which will be all inclusive and which will be depicting that your text has been very properly and well organized in that particular document, and it will also depend on the level of instruction that you are giving. So, of course, a pragmatic approach person may also write letter same as rhetorical approach person. But when we talk about rhetorical approach, we put more emphasis on the effective communication. Now, coming down to the next point, that is strong emphasis on situation, purpose and audience. Now, in rhetorical approach, we put very strong emphasis on situation, purpose and audience. Why? In pragmatic approach, the purpose was important, but we were not considering audience. Over here, we are also considering audience. Why? Because we are using different techniques, we are organizing text, we are using vocabularies, different sentence patterns. So, of course, if the audience is not able to understand these patterns, then how far I will be able to make them understand my written communication. So, here strong emphasis will be placed on the situation, purpose and audience. It uses samples rather than single models and encourages students to read for language features which they can use in their own work. Now, of course, to explain different sentences, we can over here we can give the examples of various models or various samples, so that the person is able to understand what the sender or what the writer is trying to tell from his written communication. Then it also uses certain exercises, but mostly real life text and multiple drafts. So, of course, over here in rhetorical approach, the exercises are used, the real life texts and multiple drafts are also used. Now, emphasis on imitation leading to independent activity. Now, while we were talking about pragmatic approach, it was focusing on imitation, imitation and repetition, but over here more emphasis will be paid on independent activity. Now, you will be writing down all the sentences in an independent way and elaborative in themselves. Learner is a rhetorical agent learning to use language in new situation. Now, focuses on target language. It focuses on target language means you are considerate of what kind of language your target people are using or they are aware of. So, when we are aware of the target people or the audience, the language which they are aware of, then we will be able to write down in a better way, that in a way that they are able to understand whatever is written. Now, coming down to the third approach, that is critical or cultural approach, often strongly related to study of literature or media text. Writing seen as imperative and aesthetic activity with a strong emphasis on making links between reading and writing. Now, over here strong emphasis is put on the links, on building up of relationship between reading and writing, so as to put in a emotional context in the writing which whatever has been given. Now, high value is placed on thematic considerations and arguments. It tends to be limited range of genre, traditionally suited to critically interpretation such as essays, but can be can also be used as portfolios. It tends to focus more on the meaning of the text rather than on the writing process. That means, it tends to focus more that the meaning is coming out, meaning is being understood or interpreted by the reader rather than just writing the different sentences, framing the different sentences. Learner over here is an interpreter or a critic, especially concerned with issues of power, but also is expected to give evidence. Places a very high value on classroom discussion, during which students' own background experience can be highly valued, but these are often less apparent in student writing. Now, when we talk about critical approach, over here we need to give certain kind of evidences, documentation proof, we attach, we support our written documentation with certain kind of other documents. Why? So as to give more value to our written documentation, written communication. So, whenever the learner or reader reads through the text, he is able to connect it with the documents that are being attached with the written communication. So, very strong emphasis on aesthetic and or political education throughout the text. Coming down to the last approach, that is the expressive approach. It is often called as experiential approach or first person approach. Writing over here seen as a expressive resource, especially for personal growth, strong emphasis on experience, imagination and creativity. Now, of course, this is the highest and the highest order of approach which a writer can use for writing the written communication. Why? Because he is using his experience, his imagination, his creativity, innovation, and he is building up sentences in this particular written document, where every aspect of all the other approaches have been put in. Now, over here high value is placed on creative writing such as poetry and narrative. Often uses visual materials such as photographs and paintings. So, we can use such kind of written communication whenever elaborative or descriptive kind of communication needs to be done. So, if we need to describe more and more about the topic, if we need to give more emphasis on certain topic, then this kind of approach can be taken. Can be a wide range of genres, but generally there is less emphasis on rhetorical and information writing. A very little use of exercises, but a strong use of literary examples for inspiration are used. Learner is an inquirer and researcher. It places a value on group work, multiple draft, peer conferencing. Teacher will respond to meaning before correctness and is strongly involved in initial invention of ideas for the students to work on. Now, students' own background, language and experiences often highly valued and encouraged in written work. So, overall any kind of approach can be taken for the writing purpose, but now here the writer needs to see that what kind of situation it is, and in this particular situation who are my audience and what is the exact purpose for which I am writing. Then only through this particular approach he will be able to give a proper and a formatted kind of written communication. Thank you.